go, YouTube. There's the date. It's just turned midnight. 26. Yep. Got it there. There you go. It's just literally a few seconds ago, about 10 seconds ago, turned midnight. So it's now the 26th of May 2016. Okay, on with the show. It's coming up now. I'm going to be putting it as my first item. I don't have many lenticular slips O-rings at all. I can count them on one hand. They're lovely things, aren't they? Aren't they lovely? Look at that. It's late at night here, as you can see. It's just gone midnight. It nearly blinded me then when I took it out the envelope. Great, doesn't it? Got that, haven't you? But I thought I'd open it now because I want to be able to throw it on tonight. I want to be able to watch it in a wee while just before I go to bed. So I'm half asleep here, falling asleep in front of the camera, doing a video just so I can throw it on the telly tonight and to fall asleep too, literally. Right. I'm going to talk about this movie because I forgot to in my last best of. I opened it, I forgot to talk about it, so I will talk about it now. An ensemble piece written in very similar vein to Australian drama and Australian comedy, a la Home and Away Neighbours and Kath and Kim. If you like that type of drama with the elements of the comedy thrown in, Australian styling, then you will find yourself enjoying this. It's a lovely little gripping, intriguing, comical ensemble character piece, which I will recommend. I'm going to touch on one of the players in this movie, and it's John Hawkes, the player John Hawkes, who plays the character Doug Hanson in Everest. When I was talking about the Everest movie, I've got a video up where I show off my Film Arena Everest edition, where I open it and I say how the player John Hawkes, or Doug Hanson, let me see. John Hawkes is his name. It's actually not quite clear on this card which is which character or the character. John Hawkes, the player John Hawkes. I was saying when I was opening my Film Arena, but showing off my Film Arena Everest edition, how the player John Hawkes, who's in that Everest movie, is in this Small Town Saturday Night flick, which I'd opened, not discussed in my buys of video. I'll touch on that now. I was saying how such a contrasting character he plays in the two movies, Everest and in this. You will be astounded by how different the characters he plays are in the two movies. You will be absolutely astounded with how different. Look, there he is. There's the character he plays in the movie Everest. Yeah, can you see that? Right, and there's the character he plays in Small Town Saturday Night. You can see that there, can't you? There, just by the way he looks alone, you've picked up on what I mean there, don't you? Haven't you? You've picked up on that just simply by the way he looks, how different the character is, how different the two characters are. I don't need to go into it, do I? Admittedly, he's 5-6 years younger in this movie than he is in Everest. Admittedly, but complete kudos to the player John Hawkes. in a nutshell, he plays a young thug, absolute useless rogue going nowhere, but down in small town Saturday night. Yeah, he plays a respectable type school teacher, for young children, and an infant type in an infant school type relief teacher in Everest, the movie Everest, with full health. He smokes, drinks, and everything in this, swears. He's like a relief teacher in the movie Everest. So you'll find yourself laughing and bawling and just sitting there thinking to yourself, what on earth is this? That's what you'll think. You'll be thinking when you do it. Highly recommend 2 hours to sit back and watch that and enjoy it. Yeah, enjoy it. There's all ages in it. All ages, young to older. It's just great. You're completely taken with it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a lovely edition, this, by the way, this Minerva Video edition I've got here. Is it Minerva Video? Yeah, Minerva Video. It is a gorgeous edition, you know, I've got here. Gorgeous. Okay, that's Small Town Saturday Night. Yeah, great. Now on to Aliens. Another movie I opened in my previous buys of compilation, but never got around to talking about in the appropriate buys of compilation. I think the special edition holds up really well. It's been years since I watched this. This is one of those movies when I was a child, my father would sit me down at the weekends to watch. It was one of them, along with the first Terminator movie, along with John Carpenter's Halloween. To name 3. This is when right near the beginning, probably about 20-minute mark, when Newt's family are trekking across the planet on the big contraption they're driving in, and it does look reminiscent of a child's toy, travelling along with detailed, scaled down sets of the planet. It does look a little bit like that. But other than that, I think the special edition holds up really well. I think I am not drawn to any other scene other than, say, that particular amongst the select shots in the odd scene near the beginning when the family are travelling in that transported across the surface of the planet. Other than that, I don't notice any oddity. I don't think there's any other scene which stands out, which makes me think that should have been left on a cutlery room floor. It's just literally a few seconds where that transporter looks like a miniature, basically. It looks like a remote control child's car on a scaled down set. I was gutted let down that the DTS track wasn't used for this, but I wasn't. I just assumed it would have been what they'd been on Resurrection and the first Ends movie. I did presume. I did miss that. I don't know if you watched my buys of video when I opened it. I was looking for the DTS track on it, wasn't I? I did presume it was used on this, but never mind. Yeah. See, because this VHS player, because I've got a surround sound system, I watch all my stuff, VHS and DVDs, via the surround sound system. Even the stereo track on a VHS, it'll still come out akin to how the DVD and Blu-rays sound. It really will. So, in effect, as I say, I didn't upgrade at all and get a DVD whatsoever. Exactly, so I didn't benefit at all. exactly the same situation as with the Hamburger Hill. Aliens, still recommend it as a movie to watch now. It still holds up really, really well. Thoroughly enjoy it. I still thoroughly enjoyed Aliens. Yeah. See, look, when I was a kid, my father watching movies in front of the telly, I remember thinking at the time that I was never really enjoying myself, to be honest with you. Yeah, I do remember not really being fussed whether or not I would watch a movie at the weekend with my dad and my brothers. I do remember that. I'm getting too involved, aren't I? Getting too sentimental. I'm allowing it to get to me. Yeah, I still enjoyed it. Still a great movie, that. I know why people say it's the best out of all. Yeah. Just got this in the mailbox now. I've just rushed in to open it, to play it, because I'm dying to get on the telly, I'm dying to watch it. I've just been rushing getting my camera out, set up and stuff, so I can watch it. I normally do at least two of these, at least open one, review one, or open both two, or review two at once, because it's so much hassle setting up the camera. But it's one of them, I just want to watch it so quickly. I want to get it on, I want to watch it so desperately. I'm dying to watch it, so I'm just set the camera up to do the one. I think the only way really is to do these kind of videos efficiently is to keep your camera set up all the time. But that brings its own problems, because then you're forever tripping over it, your kids are tripping over it, your pets are tripping over it. I was wondering if this had a slip cover or not. I was just dying to open it because I was curious to see what 3D is like on it also. It's the 5th Step Up movie in the franchise. It's the fifth one in the Step Up franchise. I was hoping it was going to have a slip cover, but it is. But number 4 is in the 2:40 aspect ratio. So I think I'm not going to bother with that one. The 5th one is back in the 185. It's a 178. It's in the 185. Why they chose to do the intermediate one in the 240, something like this, something really visual, something which with quick edits, with sweeping panning edits type thing. It's always best in the 185 or the 178 aspect ratio. The 240 type 3D, it's the epic type movies, best in 240. Even with 3D, I would still recommend even a 3D movie. If it's an epic type 3D movie, to be in 240 aspect ratio. But if it's, as I say, a dance type movie, things are quick edits and very colourful. There's a lot for the eye to see, captured at any one particular time. It's best doing in the 185 or the 178. But at least it's brand new. At least I got the digital code there. It's always a pain when it's spread over 2 discs, because then it weighs heavier. It costs more for you to mail on then. I was hoping that was just going to be on the 1 disc. I may have to keep hold of this. Anyway, I'll get back to you. See a bit with my take on it. It's one of them. This item is one of them where I put off for months and months. It's one of them, right? So you can find out very shortly what it is. Come with me through that. Movies Blu-ray NL. Movies Blu-ray.nl. I'll leave the link below. They're selling off all the metal packs. They've had this sale for a few years now where they're just selling off end stock. It is. It's last stock. It's end stock, basically, of their metal packs. And if you order from them, expect them to be a little squashed and battered and scuffed, but you can actually bend them back into shape. Let's put it this way, from Holland, brand new, this was under £10 to my door, right, including all costs, tax, VAT, all those kind of costs, mail handling, extra wrapping, the fact that it's brand new, everything, all those extra charges the delivery companies can add on, yeah, less than £10 to my door. So don't expect them to be first run stock in the sale, right? Not that end of line titles they are. They're simply getting rid of, because they've not been able to get rid of it. These are obviously items they've not been able to include in their first run sell, so to speak, in the first run sell. They've not been able to charge full whack for. So yeah, just expect the unexpected. I think that's the best I'm going to get it. Between you and I and the bastard who done that to me, the seller who done that to me, I think, to be honest with you, that's the best I'm going to get this metal pack now. Yeah, I think that's the best I'm gonna achieve without breaking the plastic hinges. I was thinking to myself, I wish I could take it apart. I wish I could remove the two sections, because then I would be able to really get stuck into it then. But you're limited to how much you can actually adjust it, because it's permanently hinged. Which is why the seller did it, deliberately so, because he knew he couldn't sell the stock unless it was in a sale. Get me? Fucking hate that. Amazon. Anyway, and lots of other sites do it as well. All sites do it, in fact. When you wait on a product, say, and then all of a sudden you see it for half price in used, right? What they do is they open it and just slightly damage one of the corners and mail it out to you. You know, if they're desperate to sell their items, the stock, they all do it. All online stores do it. Other online stores do it also. Right? Anyway, that's me off me little rant there. I think that's the best I'm going to get that now. Yeah, without distracting myself when I take it off the shelf. I think it was popping all kinds like a dice clicker a minute ago. It was oh god, it was all over the place. It was right mess. But I think I've remoulded it back into near enough perfecto how it was originally. It'll never be as new. It'll never be how it was factory seal, as factory release. But yeah, I think I've got that now. Yeah. Right, back in a minute. I'm going to watch it now. Just got that out the way, the hardest part out the way. I'm going to enjoy watching it now. See you in a bit. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. See you in a bit. Step up 5, all in. Step up, all in 5, 3D. Okay. Unlike step up 3, which was on one disc, easier to get rid of, we've gone and put the 5th one on 2 discs, haven't we? Like I said in the opening, I'm gutted. It's done me head in, because it's going to cost a lot more to sell on. I don't want to keep it. I don't want to have to keep this, even as a catalogue title, even as a basic to become a catalogue title, as a part of franchise title amongst my collection. I don't particularly want to keep this. Let's put it this way. Even though it's in my preferred aspect ratio for movies like this, it's not as good as the third one. It's noticeably worse than the third one. It's noticeably less enjoyable than the third one. Gutted, I really enjoyed the third one. You say to yourself, how can they go wrong? But they did. And the thing which strikes me, there's virtually no exterior shots which involve the public, even though they are all, even exterior shots are specifically detailedly staged in every single way. There are none of them in this, like there were in this. Since watching it, I'm thinking, that's possibly there were exterior shots, but they were all, there were no other people in the background, and there were no long shots of streets or there were no panning shots, exterior shots where the camera was in movement, in pan. They were all stationary, still shots when they were in the exterior. The 3D is great on it, just like in the third one. The 3D is very effective. If you're really into your 3D and you're not bothered about it looking possibly like a cheap type movie, if you're into your 3D and if you're simply basically interested in seeing the same old cast return, I'll say get it if you can get it for a few quid. But other than that, I'd hate to see where the sixth movie is going to go, which I'm sure they'll make that. I'm dreading to see where the sixth part goes. Absolutely dreading it. It just didn't work. Didn't work for me, the fifth one. This movie just didn't work for me at all, the fifth one. No, it just didn't work. As I was watching it, I was thinking, God, is this going to get any better? Is it? It just didn't. And even when they tried as well, there's a photo shoot of an image there on the reverse of the cover where they're in mid choreographed dance routine, mid choreographed routine, the two leads there, which are depicted on the front, and I think that would have been the highlight of the movie. And it just looked cheap. And even there, even the actual highlights of the movie, at the end of the movie, it played awkwardly. It simply didn't know where it was going. Maybe that's the female director's fault. It ended it quite embarrassingly. I was quite embarrassed watching it toward the end. Yeah, it really did feel like it didn't know where it was going to go itself. In the Heart of the Sea 3D, the lenticular cover on this is wonderful. It's got lovely detailed movement in it. I'm sure you saw it at my own opening. I won't try and get it again. It's very difficult. It has a lovely detailed lenticular. It is great. If you can get its lenticular cover with it, definitely try and look for it. This is a recommendation. I will highly recommend this movie. Again, it's shot in the 1:85, or should I say it's presented in the 1:85 aspect ratio, like these two step-up movies are. Preferential when it comes to these type of movies, where they're very rich on the eye. Very, very rich on the eye, where there's a lot to see. Where there's a shitload going on, basically, for the eye to see. You don't want it squozing it too far out. You want it presented in the 1:85, and all credit for this movie. It is so. It does play on the reality of it all. I was expecting the end of the movie where they're all dying in their lifeboats, and they're all losing lots of weight. I read that dragged on for ages and ages, and it seemed eternal, until they were rescued. And it never. Don't let the reviews put you off. If you read the reviews and where a lot of them where I picked on were panning this movie because toward the end, where they're decaying in a lifeboat, it was written that part of the movie just dragged on, and it was just so unenjoyable compared to the first 2/3. No, it's not at all like that, or shall I say, I didn't perceive it like that. It didn't drag on for ages. It was simply just the latter end of the movie which was like that. Highly recommend it. It's extremely rich on the eye, and in the 185, the images of the underwater scenery, the dolphins flying past them where they're chasing after them, and the gorgeous wide expanses of the ship. I'm trying to think of the name of the ship. No, I'm not going to get it. I'm sorry. I'm going to cheat. I'm sorry. The Essex, just absolutely gorgeous 3D, and with the distant shots of the Essex over the expanse of the water. The 3D has been used extremely effectively. You can tell Ron Howard set up the movie, so just like with the movie Noah and with the movie Exodus, Gods and Kings, the two directors for those movies, they were set up so to use the 3D. This movie, likewise, its use of the 3D, just exquisite. It's just really lovely. You just like float back into your chair, sink into your chair, and you just watch it. It does watch as a marvel in 3D. It really does. Unlike Step Up 5, so contrasting to this movie, highly recommend that. Hemsworth, wonderful. I wasn't looking forward to the Syrian Hind in this movie. The dude who was in the second Batman movie, what was his name? He has a very unusual name, doesn't he? What's his name? Isn't it usual to play his names on the reverse, on the slip? Isn't it usual? Normally it's identical on the slip, isn't it? Cillian Murphy. I wasn't looking forward to it for Cillian Murphy being in it. I just don't know. On anticipation of watching, I was thinking to myself, I didn't think he was going to fit in. I didn't see how he was going to fit in it. The player, from what I've seen, obviously based on what I've seen of him, his character was absolutely pivotal in the movie. By the way, the character he played, he was an essential character in the movie. I was impressed actually. I was well impressed with it. It was good to see the Irishman from the Potter movies in it. It was good to see him with a major role again. It was great to see him in a flagpole movie again. It was great. Yeah, I can highly recommend that. I will say, actually, I'll tag this on the end. If you're not into your gore, if you're simply not into factual animal cruelty, let's put it that way, the way things used to be, the essentiality of us having to capture whales back in the 19th century for oil, for light and for fuel's sake, etc., then there are going to be moments where you're going to have to escape to your kitchen to turn the kettle on. During this, I will warn you in anticipation, if you're going to sit down and watch that, it does make for some awkward viewing in certain parts. Just a few parts, it can make for awkward viewing. Okay, if you've got a sensitive palate in regards to that. Okay, I'm going to move on. Metallica, Through the Never. Right, this, I was saying, it was sold as a metal pack on this website, which I'll also leave a link below. They've probably got other iron packs amongst their metal pack sale, which they're selling as metal packs. I'm sure they do. Just let you know, look at the hinge for the difference between a metal and an iron pack. It's just that slight difference there. This movie also is spread Metallica through the Never. It's also spread over 2 discs. You get the 3D and 2D. Special features are only on the 2D version, which you find on most 3D edition movies when they're spread over 2 discs. Like with this, it's the special features are just on the 2D disc. I managed to bend this back into shape. I'm well impressed at the sound that's behind with this now. The movie... Let me have a drink of my tea, hang on. I got this movie blind because it came down cheap as chips on the website. That's how I got this, because it came right down in price. And I'm glad I did. I will recommend this, even though it's in a 240 aspect ratio. I wasn't familiar with Nimrod Antal. I knew of his name because of this movie, and I've got it in my collection. I've only got about 100 movies per se. It was after I bought this that I knew that I gathered it was Nimrod Antal. Just a little curiosity there. He did the movie Vacancy. Why? I don't know anything of his history. Could anyone tell me down below? I don't want to start researching online. He went from Vacancy 5, 6, 7 years ago to Metallica Through the Never last year. And also, I wasn't aware of just how popular Metallica are. They're the biggest selling band ever, apparently. And I get that, yeah. I really enjoyed it. It has some great effective uses of 3D in this movie, where it uses collage type montages, like in the movie The Wall and like in the movie Natural Born Killers, the way it uses collage. It has collage sections within the movie, and it's great the way it uses the 3D throughout the movie. The little animated section in the first Harry Potter movie. Take note, your animation could have been converted to 3D, just like how the animation was presented in this movie. In other words, the animation in that movie could easily have been as effective as it is in this movie here. When you watch the Harry Potter movie and that animated part, it just forever infuriates me how poorly that movie was presented in the 3D form. No excuses. An animated section of a movie can always be converted to 3D really well, a la Metallica Through the Never, 3D throughout. The music was so polished, I can imagine fans of Metallica would be quite pissed with it, actually quite disgruntled. I've been a massive a-ha fan. a-ha issued a Blu-ray movie of one of their recent live experiences, and I turned away for that because it's just so polished. You can tell the gig, it's been polished, and it's had loads of post-production. You can tell it has. It plays really, really like how an album, a CD would sound. It's extremely polished. Almost a little warning to a fan: if you're really into Metallica, you might not like it because it's an extremely polished performance, i.e. post-production. Right? I'll leave it there. But if you're not a die-hard Metallica fan and you like your 3D, great use of 3D, I can highly recommend it. Alright. Great use in the surround sound, by the way. And that has a great use in its surround sound. I think this is Dolby Atmos. Yeah, it uses Dolby Atmos. It's got a Dolby Atmos encode on it, and it's a default as well on this. The Dolby Atmos is, so no matter what your surround sound setup, it'll come out of every speaker. Step Up 3 was in 7.1 as well, so it came out of all my speakers, my 6.1 setup, it came through every one of them as well. What does this got? I noticed this after I watched it, it only has a 5.1. Yeah, go ahead, sit at the end. I noticed this has a 5.1. I was quite let down by that, but it makes great use of the surround. It does. The thing with Dolby Atmos, the benefits to Dolby Atmos, I think it's been introduced for that reason, because people now have so many different speaker setups in their homes, whether it be 5.1, 6.1, 2.1, 11.1, 11.2. Dolby Atmos is basically it's a default encode to allow for all speaker type arrangements in the home. I think that's what it is in a sentence. That's what Dolby Atmos is. That's what Dolby Atmos allows for. Because when I play a 5.1 movie through my 6.1 system and I have one speaker, the sensor back is left redundant, doesn't come out. Yeah, get me? Whereas if you throw a Dolby Atmos movie in, it'll come out to everyone. Get me? Right. That's how and why I think Dolby Atmos has been introduced. Basically, Dolby's it's Dolby's answer. It's their back answer to cover their arses when it comes to the future of in-home movie audio arrangements. Now I've got this on the recommendation of you, Grumpy Andrew. King of Scoba, you mentioned this on the effectiveness of the 3D on this, but it was you talking about this on your channel the other day, Andrew, which has made me push to get this. There's only a few quid online as well, made up button. Like with your Jaws 3D movie, Andrew, the 3D is amongst the bonus features where it says the 3D section on it. But it is Blu-ray 3D, it's got the logo there. But like on the Jaws, the new Jaws 3D release, it doesn't have Blu-ray 3D logo anywhere on the outside. It's hidden amongst the bonus features. I can only blame you, Andrew, if this is crap, by the way. It's this being the first black and white 3D movie I have now. I was gonna get what was that movie Tim Burton did? Black and white movie Tim Burton did. Alright, fella! What was that movie Tim Burton did recently? Frankenweenie. I was going to get Frankenweenie the other month. I'm curious as to how a black and white movie is going to play in the 3D form. As I say, Andrew, I blame you, even though King of Scoba, Owen, you tagged me, you got me interested in this because you said how well this has been presented. But I would ultimately blame you, Andrew. Okay, I'll get back on what I thought of this movie in a sec. See you in a bit. Right, I'll sign off by saying I don't have any miscellaneous for this part of the video to show. The nearest I have is this season of True Blood I bought. Third season of True Blood. What drew me to it was the gentleman there depicted in the centre of the picture. It's in the latest Tarzan movie. And I've not seen him in anything other than the trailer for the Tarzan movie. So when I saw this on the shelf, this third season, I thought, sod it, I'll go for it. So I just pulled it off the shelf and it was only £5. So I'm going to dip into this. And I will let you know my next buys of what I think of the season. Now, but I will say I've not seen any of the first two seasons, and I've not seen any of the fourth season either. I will simply watch this season blind. There's always recaps. There's always is in television series such as the modern type. There's always like a recap at the beginning of every season and beginning of each episode, etc. So to the point where you get absolutely bored of watching them. So I can imagine I'll be able to get into it, even though, say, I've not seen any other episodes of the early seasons. I am curious to see how that gent will come across in this movie compared to how he's going to be in the Tarzan movie. I don't know what he's like as a thesp at all, because I'm going to go and see the new Tarzan movie. I was drawn to this when I saw it on the shelf, because I just simply want to get to know what he's like as a thesp before I go see that movie. So yeah, I will use this. This will be as miscellaneous for the section as I'm signing out here. And second to last thing I will say is, I've not got a chance to view this yet. Creature from Black Lagoon in its 3D form, in the way it's supposed to have been seen, viewed. I bought it on disc. I've not yet seen it. So, as I need to get this video done and dusted, I will say in my next buy-sell video I will discuss what I think of this movie in its 3D presentation, in its 3D form. And finally, third thing is, anything I've mentioned, any people I've mentioned in my video, in regards to links, etc., I will leave all in the description bar below. Anything I've mentioned, any detail, if I've mentioned anybody's channel, etc., I will throw all that detail in the description section below. Until next time, over and out. Thanks for watching, by the way. Look forward to seeing you next time. See ya.